if we call him a teacher. He was like the head of the theater. Teaching the theater, I guess, sure. But he was a employee at Kirkland High School, called Juanita High School, so in Kirkland, Washington, east of Seattle, if you're not familiar. And I scooped him up last Friday. And the lefty internet freaked out about it because that's what they do when ICE does anything in a state like Washington. And of course, they didn't, get the pertinent details about why ICE was picking him up in the first place. So just a general resetting the stage on this. His name is Fernando Alves Roca. Again, he was a Lake Washington School District employee and gets picked up by ICE. Internet freaks out. Democrats say we're working to get him out. And then ICE comes out yesterday and says this 45-year-old is actually a citizen of Brazil who entered the U.S. in 2018 on a tourist visa and then just stayed here. And, oh, by the way, he's wanted by law enforcement authorities in Brazil for theft. So he's being detained by ICE pending removal proceedings. So that's sort of the extent of what we knew yesterday. And I'll be very honest with you. That's basically the extent of what we still know. I want to go through who we've reached out to try to get more information because we were bombarded with really a lot of conflicting information about what happened in the 6 years after Roca came to the U.S. on a tourist visa up till he was detained by ICE. So he's detained. There's misinformation being pushed out there, I would say, by State Senator Manka Dhingra, who couldn't really get her story straight. But basically, his attorney is now saying that after he came here on a tourist visa, he applied for asylum. I read 2 different interviews his attorney did yesterday, one with the Seattle Times, one with MyNorthwest.com. And in the Seattle Times interview, he said that Roca applied for asylum before his tourist visa expired. In the MyNorthwest interview, he seemed to suggest, at least it read that way to me, that Roca applied for asylum after his visa expired. To be honest, I don't care. The one thing we know for sure is that this guy in 2018 came into our country on a lie. He came into our country and misrepresented his intentions. There are a million ways you can apply for asylum. Coming here, claiming to be a tourist, and then deciding, wow, this is a nice place, I'm just going to stay, is not someone who should be able to stay. It's not someone who should be able to get asylum. And it's certainly not someone who should be able to very easily get a job at a local public school district teaching other people's kids and being around other people's kids. So I'll say that some of this matters, right? We've reached out to local enforcement removal operations. They were a little bit cagey about details, referred us to essentially Washington, D.C. So we've reached out to Washington, D.C. We want to know a few things. We want to know, did he apply for asylum? If so, when did he apply for asylum? Was it before his tourist visa expired or after his tourist visa expired? We want to know, if he came here under the pretense of being a tourist, why would he be given an opportunity to get asylum in this country? But if that's what happened, was he given a valid work permit? Because how else can we explain that he got hired by the school district? And Nicole, you could pull his picture back up. Was he given a valid work permit? Was he given a social security number? So all of those are questions we need answered about Fernando Alves Roca, to help us understand how someone who was wanted for theft in Brazil could come into the United States on a tourist visa, just decide to stay, and then, if you believe his attorney, get legal authorization to be here by having a valid pending asylum claim. Call me crazy, I don't think, even if he did have a valid pending asylum claim, that's someone who should have been able to teach around kids. How can you properly vet someone who, first of all, entered the United States under false pretenses, and he's here from another country, without checking their criminal background in the other country? And we know there are rigorous background checks that have to be in place by state law for public school staff members and teachers. How can you rigorously check the background of someone who's from somewhere else? And we already know, again, he's wanted for theft in Brazil. Now, one of the things that enforcement and removal operations told us yesterday when we reached out is essentially one of the main reasons for them picking him up is that he's wanted in Brazil, in his home country, and he's not a citizen of the United States. And so this was someone who was considered more of a priority because Brazil wants him back. so he can face charges there for theft, which his attorney says, oh, this was a surprise. All the family members, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this is so surprising to us. And everybody acts like, this is like news to them. And I just have a hard time believing that, because again, the one fact here that matters, as we try to sort out all the other details, the one fact that no one is contesting, not his attorney, not him, not ICE, not anybody else, is that he came here under a tourist visa and never left. He came here under false pretenses, totally in anticipating. You don't just go to another country for tourism and then decide, oh, while I'm here, I'll seek asylum. So he lied to the United States government from the very beginning about what his intentions were. So we're working on the dates. We want to know the timeline. I would hope that there's some parents who aren't too loony lefty at the Juanita High School to also have some serious questions about how well are people being vetted who are working around our kids. And then, of course, you've got the media coverage of this. Nicole and I were at a baseball game last night with some political friends. And we're sitting there, and Nicole shows me her phone, and the Seattle Times news flash came out of her phone saying, Kirkland man arrested by ICE. Are they just trolling us at this point? Kirkland man? Kirkland man. No, he's Brazilian, and he's only been here for like 6 years, and he came on a tourist visa. When I go to Europe in the fall, if something happens to me, is the press there going to say, London woman? No, they're going to say American. It's so bizarre. Seattle Times has lost its mind. It's so bizarre. In what realm is he a Kirkland man? Crazy. But then you read their article, and again, it's the sob story mentality. Let's see. Juanita High School theater manager detained by ICE. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs in it took them to say that he's a citizen of Brazil and is wanted in Brazil for theft. 7 paragraphs into their story. Fernando Roca is the theater manager at Juanita High School in Kirkland and was an important member of the school's community. According to parents, one member of a parent Facebook group said Roca was an amazing mentor to her son. And then bury it down. Oh, and he's from Brazil and he's wanted for theft. Like, the Seattle Times has really lost its mind. Totally. And I think they're trolling us at this point. I think this much of myself. I think their social media team last night sending out the breaking news authorization was like, hey, Brandi Kruse will love this one. It's a Kirkland man. Crazy. So how can we have realistic conversations about this immigration issue when you've got an entity like the Seattle Times calling him a Kirkland man? I guess I shouldn't be surprised because they refer to women as men. So, and then, of course, there was more sobbing in this. And I'm okay with talking about the personal impact of immigration policies. But when that's like the bulk of your story, when you're seemingly uninterested in really looking into the crazy, like nothing in this article about, hey, was this person properly vetted to be around children? Hey, did this person have the proper documentation to be working in the setting he was working in? No, it's like, oh, this is a sad story about a guy who was here and wanted asylum, allegedly, according to his attorney, and he's just a really good guy, and the whole community is stepping up to help him. It's talking about Adolfo Oleda, who is like a fellow musician sort of guy. Oleda found out Tuesday morning about the allegation of theft, saying, I was a little bit flabbergasted. The family said, oh, no, this is the attorney, sorry. The family said it was outlandish. Oledo said for now, he has to take the family at their word, but he would look into the allegations from Brazil. Rose Cano, a longtime actor and director in the Seattle theater scene, had hired Roca to act in her upcoming show Pariah at the new Skid Row Theater, which is planned to open August 9th. But she said she feels panic for Roca, his family, and her own loved ones. Cano is a naturalized citizen herself, so began to wonder who in our family should carry some kind of documentation. I can't believe it's come to this in this country. I'm trying to see how I can help him. He is such a great, great, hardworking guy who came here under false pretenses from another country, is wanted there for theft, and therefore needs to be sent back. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, say a couple lines about the family and the impact of immigration policies, but you can't bury the lead that he came here on a tourist visa, stayed, and somehow managed to almost immediately get a job in a local school district working around other people's kids. How is that so hard? So we're looking into this. We have messages out to DHS, to Customs and Immigration Enforcement, trying to pin down a timeline. We also sent some additional questions to the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. We're trying to understand from their perspective, if we're a sanctuary state and we treat illegals just like we treat regular citizens, how are they truly vetting individuals who might be in the country illegally, or even if they are here on some temporary status, what are they doing to vet their criminal histories in other countries? Because if you're a citizen and you want to be a teacher, you go through a Washington State Patrol criminal background check, you go through an FBI criminal background check. You're not going to pop on either of those things for criminal convictions. If you're from Mexico, or if you're from Brazil, or whatever other country it is. So what are they doing? Are you really properly vetting the people who are working with kids? And that's very important, right? That's state law. So we have a lot of questions around this. And the media is not helping with anything. The media is not helping. The media is making people far more angry about this situation than they need to. Everyone should understand the nuances of it, the ins and outs. Hey, yeah, maybe he ends up having an asylum claim. Should he have been given the opportunity to have an asylum claim when he came here under false pretenses? What president did that happen under? Was it in 2018 under Trump, or was it in 2020 or later under Biden? That stuff matters to me. So we're going to continue to try to get to the bottom of all of it.